You know that feeling in like grade school math where you just figure out the answer in your head?
Oh, yeah, and then the teacher still fails you anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't spend an hour, showing your work. Well, the corporate world does the exact same thing.
It really does.
Right. And today's deep dive is into Aries Chan's new piece, From Experience, Beyond the Lens, called The Architecture of Agility.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating read.
It really is. We are unpacking why finishing work quickly often gets you penalized, and how to actually defend your high-efficiency skills without having to pretend you're busy just to appease the office clock.
Which is a deeply frustrating dynamic for anyone who works efficiently. Chan argues that we are still hostage to this severely outdated metric, which he calls the labor-to-value equation.
The labor-to-value equation. So basically, time equals quality.
Exactly. I mean, for generations of management, time spent has just been the default proxy for quality because, frankly, cognitive work is just hard to measure visually.
Right. It's not like laying bricks where you can actively see the wall going up.
Yes, exactly. But in knowledge work, the subconscious bias is that, a quarterly analysis that takes a full week to draft just must fundamentally be more rigorous than one you generate in a single afternoon.
Which is wild. They are grading the sweat, not the actual solution.
Precisely.
But, I've always struggled to accept this reality. If the final deliverable is completely flawless, perfectly formatted, and all the right data is staring them right in the face, why does the time it took even factor into their assessment?
Well,
Like, why is the immediate assumption that you cut corners?
because the doubt isn't actually about a specific error in your spreadsheet. Chan calls this the credibility gap.
The credibility gap, okay?
Right. Your colleagues or your boss, they simply cannot reconcile your quick turnaround with their own slower manual methods.
Oh, I see. Because they can't imagine reaching that outcome so quickly themselves.
Exactly. Their brains reflexively categorize your speed as recklessness. Your efficiency essentially threatens their comfort zone.
Wow. Okay, so if they are clinging to this labor-to-value proxy, producing a perfect report in 2 hours doesn't look like genius to them. It looks like a parlor trick.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how do you close that gap without deliberately dragging your feet and killing your own productivity?
You use what Chan defines as methodological transparency.
Okay, methodological transparency. What does that actually look like?
The core idea is that you aggressively illuminate your process. The article breaks this down into 3 practical defense strategies, starting with the source audit.
The source audit. Meaning what exactly?
It means you proactively tie every major data point in your output directly back to primary texts or official URLs.
Oh, so you're visually proving that your work is anchored in the exact same verified information everyone else uses.
Exactly, not just pulled out of thin air to save time.
Right, so instead of just giving them the destination, you're handing them the map. It reminds me of like open source software,
Oh, that's a really good comparison.
Yeah, when developers can actually look at the underlying source code, they trust that the program hasn't been hacked, even if it executes a task incredibly fast.
And that is the exact mechanism behind Chan's second strategy, which is the analytical review.
The analytical review.
Yeah. Instead of keeping your methodology a black box, you explicitly present that source code to your colleagues.
Give me an example of how that works in real life.
Sure. Let's say you're in a high-pressure board meeting. Instead of just delivering your final verdict on a project, you project your logic map up on the screen.
Okay, so showing your work, literally.
Yes, you walk the team through exactly how you weighted different risk factors and cross-reference them with the board's current priorities.
Oh, I get it. You are offering them the mental scaffolding you used so they can walk themselves to the identical conclusion.
Right.
By doing that, you're removing the mystery entirely. It's like a magician exposing how a trick is done. If they understand the mechanics of the engine, they stop being suspicious of how fast the car is driving.
Precisely. Which brings us to the ultimate psychological defense, the accuracy stress test.
The accuracy stress test.
Yeah, this is about letting the objective results do the heavy lifting in real time. Imagine your boss questions a complex forecast you built in an hour.
Okay.
You just sit down and run their own hypothetical worst-case numbers through your model live.
Oh, wow. Wait, so you let them test it right there?
Yes. Once that skeptical manager actively tries to poke holes in your fast work and finds it completely structurally sound, their suspicion naturally melts.
You force a cognitive shift.
Exactly. They can no longer critique how long it took because the objective value of the result becomes undeniable.
That is so smart.
Yeah.
So the real takeaway for you listening out there isn't just a list of administrative chores to add to your workflow. Next time you finish a sprint early or crack a complex problem in half the expected time, remember to keep your notes and logic maps ready.
Yeah, proactively share your analytical framework before high-pressure situations hit. Always use verifiable references.
Because the deliverable itself is really only half your job. The other half is presenting the logic map that got you there, effectively bulletproofing your professional reputation against the old guard's clock watching.
It really is. And if we extrapolate this out, it leaves us with a massive structural question to consider.
Oh, I like where this is going. What is it?
Well, if modern tools, agile frameworks, and transparent methodologies completely destroy that old labor to value equation,
Yeah.
how long will it be before companies are forced to abandon the traditional 40-hour work week altogether?
Now that is definitely something to think about.